Hi, everybody. Yeah, it's Di. My last video was titled Bad News. This one is titled Good News. And I am so happy that I could put this video up. I'm going to do my best to remain composed while I explain to you why it's good news. Well, it's good news because I'm back up and running. Now, I'm not back up and running like I was. As you can see, the background. I'm in my living room. I've got a computer desk in front of me, 46-inch TV that I don't use very often. And there's a computer hooked up to it that has plenty enough power for me to do videos from it and live streams. I'm not messing with blue screen. As you can see, over here, you can see that's my studio, and it's pretty empty over there right now. The studio desk is up against my picture window. The old computer that crashed on me and took me offline is tore apart, sitting over here on the floor. The hard drive sitting up here. It was in a docking station and plugged into the computer I'm using right now to try to recover some files, especially the raw footage from my Birch Grove camp, my 8-night camp out of Birch Grove. This computer, thank goodness, with this computer and that dock, that hard drive dock, you just take the hard drive out of the other computer and it slides right into that dock. And this computer just saw it as an additional drive, and it allowed me to go in there and see all the files on it. It's not running that drive. It's not trying to run the operating system off of it. It just lets me see all the files in it. I went in, captured the Birch Grove raw data, and I downloaded it. Well, I copied it and burned it to an external hard drive. I saved all my Birch Grove footage, 131 gigabytes of raw footage. Saved it all. My heart just pounded and pounded and pounded as I watched it burn into that external hard drive. And then when I opened that external hard drive and saw it was all there and intact, then I pulled that old drive off of there. I don't want that connected to this computer right now. I got it off of there. So where'd this computer I'm running come from? Well, an acquaintance of mine that I've chatted with dozens and dozens and dozens of times. We run into each other occasionally. And we always have a conversation, a nice conversation. Well, they asked me today, we ran into each other when I went to get my mail, and we had a good conversation, and they asked, well, because I told them what happened. My computer crashed, couldn't get it back running, tried so many different things, just couldn't get it going. And I told them, I said, but I got a new machine coming on Monday. That's really good news. Got a machine coming on Monday, and we'll get to that in just a moment. And they said, well, what are you going to do between now and Monday? They said, you got the whole weekend. They said, don't you have Sty Story Sunday? And they said, what did you do last night? I said, nothing. I couldn't do around the campfire last night because my laptop can't handle it. And they said, oh, I wish I would have known. I have a computer you can borrow. I said, you do? And they said, well, yeah. They said, well, my son put this computer together for me. And they said, I haven't had time to even fire it up yet. And all that's on it is Windows 10. There's nothing else. Other than they said they got Google on it. That they loaded Google as the default for the internet. Otherwise, there's nothing on it. And they said, if you would like to borrow that until your new equipment comes and you get all your new equipment set up, feel free. I couldn't believe that. Now, this person is just an acquaintance. We see each other maybe once a week, every other week. You know, it's not like we meet up and chat all the time or anything. But when we do come across each other, we do have good conversations. Well, so I went to their place and they said, well, there it is. And it's sitting on this little computer desk. It's all hooked up. And they said, hey, I'll give you some help. I'll help carry the monitor and the mouse and keyboard and stuff. You grab the computer. I said, I don't need any of that. All I need is the computer, just the tower. And they said, really? I said, I've got all everything it needs. I just need the tower. And I said, I'll only need it till Tuesday. Oh, they said, you can hang on to it for a week or two if you need to, you know. Don't feel rushed. I couldn't believe it. I picked that tower up and I carried that tower to my place. Hooked it all up, got it on here. And I gave the person a call and I said, would it be all right if I downloaded a program to it? And they said, you do whatever you have to do. And then when you're ready to return it, just go in and uninstall whatever you put in. Just return it the way it was. I said, I can do that. I'll do that. So today I loaded up Filmora. I got StreamYard up and running. I got all of the things necessary. I got the internet all set up for myself. All my defaults set up. I checked everything out and I decided I got to do this video because I'm up and running. I am up and running. The best news in the world. Now I got to get onto the new equipment that's going to be replacing this borrowed computer. That new equipment is going to be, it's 3 times stronger, 3 times faster. It's just 3 times the computer I used to have. It's awesome. How did I do it? How could I swing that? Well, I couldn't swing it. I couldn't swing it. I've pretty much so invested my expendable income into camps, right? And I would have to make, I only had 2 possible choices. Wait until I could afford to replace that equipment, or well, I'd still have to wait about a month, but I could take a big chunk of the cost out of my future camps. So I'd have to eliminate a couple of camps out of my budget to replace the equipment. Well, my bad news video, I can't believe how many people watched it. I did get a lot of comments that said, "Oh, shucks, Sty, we feel bad for you, man. We feel bad that your equipment broke down, blah, blah, blah. But you had us scared. We thought there was something seriously wrong with you." Well, in a way, there was something seriously wrong with me. I don't get depressed easy. But boy, I was depressed. I was really feeling down and out. I have to be able to communicate with you guys. I have to be able to interact. You've become such a huge, huge part of my life. Well, here's the part that's hard to stay composed. And I feel bad because I was not asking for any form of financial help at all, anything. All I wanted was people's support and prayers, just that I could get through this. I knew I could. But having that moral support always helps you get through things, right? Well, all of a sudden I get a phone call that said, "I'm willing to contribute XY amount of money." And I said, "You are not doing that. No." And they said, "Oh no, up to a certain amount, I'm going to contribute." And it was way too much for any one person to do. And I told them, I said, "You don't do anything until I decide whether I'm going to accept or not." Well, then another individual popped in and donated a quite large amount without saying a word to me. It just showed up in my PayPal. Then another individual donated a considerable amount. Then another individual made a very nice contribution. And I got a hold of the first individual that was going to give me this huge amount. And I told him, I said, because I had available of my own resources a couple $100. So I got a hold of them and I said, "I've got a couple $100. And I got these donations from 4 different people. Very nice donations. Well, at that point, it was 3 other people. And I said, I don't need what you offered. I don't need what you offered." I said, how about a quarter of that? And they said, okay, I'm going to send you a fourth of the amount I offered. And they said, that'll be this much. I said, no, that's half. I said, no, just send me a fourth of what you offer. He said, okay. Well, what shows up in PayPal? Half of what they offer. Well, then I had one other individual contact me and said, "Oh, Sty, I'd like to help you out. What can I do? What can I do to help?" I said, "You can't do anything to help." I said, "Just be there for me. Just, I love the fact you're concerned. I just don't do anything. You don't have to do anything." I said, "It's all covered. Other people have already donated, so you don't need to." I said, "You really don't." I said, "And there's only going to be $100 out of my pocket." I said, "It's amazing. It's feels like a damn miracle. And they said, well, whether you want it or not, there's a little more for you. Check your PayPal. I looked into PayPal, and that individual gave me the $100 that was coming out of my pocket, and I will be investing that much in my new equipment. I just want to say, those five people, they put me back into business. I'm back into YouTube, full swing. As of Tuesday evening, I'll be back over in my studio over here. I'll have the green screen and everything going again. And we'll be back up and running. 100%. That new equipment does not belong to me. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still going to be operating on borrowed equipment. That equipment belongs to each and every one of you out there. Each and every one of you that have given me any support, the moral support, the financial support, the advice, everything that you folks gave to me. So, that machine is going to be dedicated to the channel only. All that machine's ever going to be used for is YouTube streams, my live streams, and channel management, managing the channel, memberships, those types of things, and managing the uploads. And what I'm doing is I'm tearing into this old machine. I found someone that they told me, snatch the files you want off of that drive. Just snatch them all off of there that you need. All the raw data, anything that I haven't already saved to an external hard drive. Get it off there, put it on an external hard drive. Then they want me to bring that drive and my tower, everything to them. They're going to tear into it, and they're going to totally reformat that hard drive, reload Windows on it. I've got the product key so they can activate it, and they're going to try to restore that machine for me at no fee. They're not going to charge me. They said, no, I'll be doing it on my spare time, but, and they do this for a living, but they're doing it and this is somebody that I met 30 years ago. He was a very young man at the time and had just started a job as a computer tech. (1990). 30 years ago, we met. We haven't seen or talked to each other in at least 3 or 4 years. Well, I stopped at the firm that he went to work for back in 1990. And I was talking to one of their techs about my problem. And he's saying, well, yeah, we can take your machine, but we're kind of backlogged and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I'm not really in a hurry because I'm getting all new equipment, and I don't even know if this thing can be salvaged. So, it's one of those deals where I'm not in a hurry. All of a sudden, this fellow I was talking about comes walking out of an office, and he sees me. He goes, "Sty, for crying out loud!" I couldn't believe it. He's aged a bit. He's in his early 50s, and he said, asked what the problem was, and I told him what's going on, told him about the channel and everything. And he said, "Get it to me." He told me what to do, how to prep it, put it all together, bring the tower in, and he'll work on it on his spare time, and he'll give me a call if he can get it back into working order. And he said, and I said, "Well, if there's any parts cost or anything, give me a call and I'll see what I can do." He said, "Yeah, well, I'll let you know." He says, "We do have a lot of spare parts here." Well, they're a computer tech company, right? So, there we go. Sty is alive and kicking. Channel's alive and kicking. I lost a few followers. I lost a couple of members in my memberships. I think they thought, well, no, things aren't quite stable enough. I'm just not going to follow. But I have to say, 99.9% of all you folks stuck with me. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. You've done way more than I would have ever expected for me. So I hope I can return the favors. You folks are the absolute best. So here we are. We're up and running. I'm going to get my first Birch Grove video up yet tonight. It's Friday. It'll go up kind of late, a little later. Not too long after this video, but it's going up tonight. The first Birch Grove video. And then I can go live. I'll hang out on other people's lives until Sunday night, and then we're going to do a Sty Story Sunday. And basically that Sty Story Sunday is going to be kind of like a current story. So until then, folks, Sty sends his love. I hope you're all safe and happy out there, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye.